welcome to another episode of Solar Tech. Today I will be giving a comprehensive test drive of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, and rightly so, considering the hefty price of £1,100 or $1,200 that Sony is asking. The phone was released in the UK in June 2020 and it has been considered by some as the smartphone of the year. So let's take a look. In terms of the contents in the box, there should be one mobile device, one USB charging cable, one 18-watt charger, and a pair of Sony headphones. The phone has 3x 12 megapixel cameras on the rear of the phone, 1x 8 megapixel front-facing camera. In terms of the screen, it's a 6.5-inch diagonal, 21:9 Cinemawide aspect ratio, 4K HDR OLED screen, which is stunning. It has a 4,000 mAh battery. In terms of chipset, it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, and it has an IP65 and IP68 rating, meaning it is dust and water resistant. Just to give you a quick comparison between the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II on the right and the iPhone 6s Plus on the left. And as we can see, the Sony is taller. In terms of screen sizes, they are both 6.5 inches diagonally. However, with Sony's 21:9 aspect ratio, it is definitely slimmer, which is great for gaming and for content. And also the Sony is much more comfortable to hold than the iPhone, which is a lot thicker. Another thing that I like with my phones, and there seems to be a running theme here, are the top and bottom bezels. So the Sony has very thin top and bottom bezels, giving me more real estate, unlike the iPhone, which has thick top and bottom bezels. And as you can see, the theme here is when I'm watching content, I do not like to be visually impaired by any pinholes or cameras or notches. So let's take a look at the phone. So here we have the tray holder, which houses one nano SIM and a micro SD card for expandable storage up to 1 terabyte. Probably the only phone that does not require a SIM ejector tool, as it can be manually opened, which is excellent because you can never find the ejector when you need it. Up here we have the space for the 3.5mm headphone jack, which is extinct on smartphones nowadays. So nice of Sony to bring it back, and it is great for inserting an external audio microphone when recording content for social media like YouTube. Okay, to the side we have the volume rocker. Just below that we have the power on and off button and fingerprint scanner, which is very responsive. No Face ID with this phone, which was not a deal breaker for me. Also, with face coverings mandatory in public places, Face ID may be a redundant function for some time. Okay, below that we have the dedicated shutter button to emulate a camera when taking photos, especially in bursts. Okay, and then here we have the USB charging port, which is a Type C, and the phone also supports wireless charging. Okay. So as we can see, the 3 cameras on the rear of the phone causes a slight hump, and as a result of that, whenever you put the phone down on a flat surface, you get that rocking sound, which is not good considering how much I spent on the phone. So to combat that, I use this case. This is very flexible. Okay, so let's just insert that. That should fit in snug. Very simple. And there we go. Once we do that, and look, there's very little crackling like before. So that's fantastic. In addition to this, I use another case. So I'll just try that out. Okay, and it eventually pops out. And then, very simple, slot that in there. Is that in? Perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. And again, if there's any rocking like this, it's probably due to this part here. But other than that, you can see the cameras are protected. So that's important. And that is one way of protecting your investment. I've heard a lot of people say that the side sense on this phone does not work. But I'm here to show that it does work. So just to demonstrate, I've activated the side sense bars, which are on the side here of the phone. And when I tap on it, it works there. On the reverse side, it works. Let's go back again. Works. And just for good measure, there you go. So that's evidence there that the side sense does work. Just want to show you something else with the side sense. So if, for example, we don't want it to appear on the sides, what we can do is just hold down on it and drag it to the middle. So you'll see there that every time you tap on that, it will work. However, what I found is that when I use an app, so if we go here, so you can see immediately that the icon always appears in the app that one is using. So that's something to bear in mind. But personally, I prefer to have it on the sides. But you may prefer this option, but it's good to know. Okay, so what we'll do is finish with that. And then if you prefer not to have it this way, you can decide to hold it down and then push it to the side of the screen. And as you see, the bars will return. Another feature I like with this phone is the ability to look at 2 apps at the same time. So for that, tap on the multi-window icon, which is the first app we want to have a look at. And then the second one, drop this below, and there you go, they're right up on screen. So you can look at them. You can adjust which one you want to look at more, the ratio. So that's great. One thing to note with this is that you cannot be actually typing anything. It's just basically to view, but I still think it's a very useful feature. You can also put it this way, and there we go. And again, you could tap side by side, which I think is really cool. For those who want to adjust the white balance, this can be done by going into Settings, Display, White Balance, and these are your options. Just here. And that's pretty much it. Because of the long and narrow aspect ratio of this phone, very difficult for the fingers to reach the top. So to manage this, we can activate the one-handed mode. So if we tap here, so that, tap on the one-handed mode, that makes it much easier to manage. And as you can see, that's much easier. And then if you're left-handed, tap it to the left here, and again, easy to use. One feature I like about this phone is the volume, which can be adjusted. So to do that, click on the volume rocker, tap on this below. You get the options here for the media volume, in-call, ring and notifications, and alarm. So that's pretty good. You can adjust those to your design and press done once complete. I've had a lot of reviewers complain about the screen brightness, or more like the lack of screen brightness on this phone. So I just want to give you a quick demonstration of what it looks like. The lights off. Here we go. Hold down here. That's the maximum brightness. Clearly, the higher you have it, the more drain there will be on the battery. And I like to keep mine about halfway. I do accept that this experiment is conducted indoors. However, I have used this phone, like many phones over the years, and in direct sunlight, no matter what phone I've used, I've always found it difficult to see the screen. So the screen brightness will be an individual preference. You can protect the life of the battery and the phone. To do this, we go into Settings, Battery, and here, Stamina Mode. And if we switch that on, that means that when the phone is charging, once it reaches 90%, it will automatically switch off. So, which is really good because, again, as I mentioned, it will prolong the life not only of the battery, but also of the phone. Another useful function, which took me a while to grapple with on this phone, was how to take screenshots. So, for your benefit, I shall walk you through it. So to do so, you have the image that you want the screenshot of. Then on the on power off button, you hold it down until you see those options at the top. Tap on the screenshot, and hey presto. Although I'm not a gamer, anyone who is into games will also enjoy this phone, because it comes with a Sony PlayStation app, which I've uninstalled because I don't play games, and also comes with this Game Enhancer app. So just highlighting some features. You can store game icons, voice input optimization, note about screen recording. Your games are listed automatically. Launch your games from Game Enhancer. Select your preferred menu type, floating icon, pull down icon. So that must be really good for those who play games. And that's good. And I think another benefit for playing games on this device would be the fact that because of its long and narrow aspect ratio, turn it this way, I can imagine that they can see a lot more of the screen. So there's going to be something there for a gamer for sure. There has been a lot of talk that this phone does not support 120 Hz refresh rate. And for me, that's not an issue because I don't do any gaming. The phone is at 60 Hz refresh rate, which for me is not slow. As you can see. And I'm pretty fine with that. But if not, you can always use the motion blur reduction on the phone, which I've never used. As I said, I'm pretty happy with it in its current 60 Hz refresh rate. Because of the 21:9 aspect ratio of this phone, therefore watching any content shot 16:9 will not fill the screen. But I'll demonstrate how we can get around this. So let's find one of my videos. Here we go. Play would be nice. So as you can see, we have the black bars on the side. So what we do is pinch it out like that, and that fills the screen. But by doing so, we lose the top of my head. So that is something to bear in mind. If you're enjoying this content, please hit the subscribe button below, which is free. A like would also be fantastic. I just wanted to clarify a statement that I made earlier when using the multi-window. Okay, I did mention earlier that when using two apps side by side, that it was not possible to edit either one. Well, I'm here to correct myself, and I will show that you can edit one of the apps when using them side by side. So here I've chosen WhatsApp at the top, and at the bottom I've got YouTube. So as we can see, so if we run the YouTube video, and at the top here we have WhatsApp, so I can make amendments there. And then if I switch it to landscape, so you can see I can respond to text messages while also watching the YouTube video. The phone comes in other colors like purple, which I wanted, but I could only get it in black in the UK. As Henry Ford said many moons ago, you can have a Ford car in any color as long as it was in black. The phone is made of Corning Gorilla Glass, weighs 181 grams, which is light for a flagship phone. The phone has a premium feel, it's nice to hold, but very slippery, and it attracts fingerprints like a magnet, so a case is advisable. I added a case and screen protector immediately after purchase, just in case my phone should kiss the ground. And thankfully, after 4 months of ownership, that has not materialized. The phone has 256 gigabytes of internal storage, and with stock apps and little bloatware. It also has 8 gigabytes of RAM and LED notification light on the top right here, and it has one 8 megapixel front facing camera, and on the reverse it has 3 times 12 megapixel cameras, which I will discuss later. So I just want to show you the quality of the 4K screen and also test out those front facing stereo speakers. So here we go.
What are you doing here in Somerville?
Honestly, my mom won't say it, but we're completely broke. And the only thing that's left in our name is this creepy old farmhouse our grandfather left us in the middle of nowhere. Oh my god, this is way worse than I thought it was going to be.
The phone comes with 5G, so it is future proof, but at present there's no 5G in America, so do bear that in mind, and again that could change with time. Also has 8 GB of RAM, making the phone fast and responsive. In terms of internal storage, it comes with 256 GB. Android 10 is included. Mine recently upgraded to Android 11, and being a flagship phone, Sony should get 3 years of updates, although nothing has been confirmed. So here we have the standard camera. I'll run through some of the features here. Let's start with this mode. So you've got 6 further options there, pretty much self-explanatory. This Google lens refers to this one here, so let's tap on that, see what it does. Okay, self-explanatory, search what you see. Okay, so that's another function. Okay, in terms of the lenses, so right now it's in standard mode. If we tap the portrait, which is the top one there, so you can see the images closer, and then the bottom one is the ultra wide. So for now I'll just leave it back in this standard. So just to recap, the top is the portrait, the middle is the standard, and then the bottom is the ultra wide. Okay, so moving over to the left hand side, so just quickly run through these. So this is for selfie, this here is for the light, so you can adjust light in here. Okay, so yeah, so there's some options there, and we can take that off. Then obviously in terms of the aspect ratio, you have 3 choices there. Then here is this one's very useful in terms of the bokeh effect. So if something is brought closer, then whatever's in the background will be slightly distorted. So that's what that function is for. Okay. So I think that's for the flash. So again, pretty much self-explanatory. So that's pretty good. I just want to touch on the top here. So this is camera settings. So we've got some options here, so it's good. I think one option, I think it's this one here. Yeah, this auto capturing, this is pretty neat. So basically the option here is the smile shutter. So whenever it detects a smile, the camera automatically takes a photo. So I think that's pretty good. In fact, let me set that to that while we're here. And pretty much you see you've got some other options there. So that's pretty good. Okay, so let's now go to the movie part. Again, pretty self-explanatory. So let's try with the modes. So we've got the same 6 options as before. And let's have a look. Obviously, this is for selfie, HDR. Again, lighting. Again, you can adjust those as you see fit. Okay, so I've braved the elements to give you guys a footage of the 8 megapixel front facing camera. Oh, it's cold. I don't do cold very well. So there you go, guys. Yes. Okay. Whew. What I've never been able to establish is whether this Cinema Pro app can take selfies. So if anyone knows, please let me know. Okay, signing out. I will now take you through the Photo Pro app. So to do that, tap on here, select Photo Pro app, and just to start with, we have it on auto mode. You can change that from that to program, shutter, manual, and then MR here just gives you some other options, so which is pretty much impressive. Again, in the hands of professional, this would be putty in their hands, but for someone like myself who's starting out in photography, this is like giving me a, I don't know, maybe a Ferrari, and I've been driving a Mini for the last however many years, so this is all new to me. But yes, so far it's been fantastic. So let's go back. Sorry, let's go back here. Right, so back here, so I'll leave it on, take it back to auto just for now. And as we can see, we have some other options here, so let's go through them. So you got different drive modes there. Okay, let's try this MC. Focus mode, continuous, single shot, manual. So what's this? AF, autofocus, whether you like it on or off. And I also understand with the eye autofocus, it picks it up for humans and as well as animals. So that's pretty good. I haven't tested that out on any animals. I don't have a pet, so not able to confirm. But from some of the other reviews I've seen, yeah, it seems to work pretty well. So that's an interesting feature there. In terms of JPEG, you can have it in these options. And in terms of aspect ratio, again, you've got 4 options there, so that's pretty good. And obviously you can change the ISO and all these other features. I think, what's this one? Okay, I think we have to change that in the ML, which I showed previously. So while we're here, I'll just go through, let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is the menu. So as you can see, so we have a range of options here in terms of shooting. When it comes to exposure, we've got some other options. You can turn that on, but for now I'll turn that off. Okay, yeah, again, further options, and then setup. So I've still got a lot of learning to do to master all of these, but it's good. Okay, now you go to this display, if I remember how this works. Okay, so I found this really good. For me, this is like a spirit level. So if you're trying to take something, you know that when those bars are green in the middle like that, you know that the camera is straight. So that's really good. That's the other option there. So okay, let me just return back here. Oops. Okay, another feature I haven't mastered on this are this little graph here, which I think it's the histogram. So, but I'm not adept at using that. But like I said, in a professional's hands, they'll master this. Okay, so in terms of the lenses, so you have 16 millimeters, which is the ultra wide lens. Then you have the 24, which is the standard, and then the 70 millimeter, which is the portrait. Okay, so, and just something else to note is that before go into from 16 to 24. You can move in between, so by tapping on here, as you can see, you can use this dial. You can even use the volume rocker to move this up and down. So that just gives you an option there. Okay, so now from 24 to 70. Take it back down. And then to 70. And again, that can take, I think it's up to 200. Wow. Whoa. Well, yeah, that's pretty neat. So you do have a wide range there. Okay, let's take it back down. So that's pretty good. Put it back to 16. And yep, so that's something to show you. And also, if you have a particular setting, you can lock it on the right hand side, and then the other information, you know, the ISO, these other figures here, which I'm not familiar with. I'm sure they're very useful. And then obviously at the top just tells you how much storage space you have left. 9 megapixel, assume that's the camera. Obviously JPEG, that's what it's in at the moment, and then obviously your battery life. And again, I'm not sure what this does, but that's just to give you an idea of the Photo Pro app. Returning to the cameras, which are on the back of the phone, we have the Zeiss lenses, starting with the 16mm, 70mm, and the 24mm. All three lenses are 12 megapixels each. In addition, we have the time of flight sensor. I will go on to take some daylight and night photos using the Photo Pro app, so you get an idea of what they look like. Okay, so let's go through the Cinema Pro app. Okay, just some basic information. So we can see this measures the volume. Next to that is the counter. The next two I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure someone will know. Next to that is the battery. Again, very useful to know. Don't want to be in the middle of filming something and the battery dies. Next to that is the memory that's left on the phone, and at the bottom here will be the projects. You can always access those up here. You can always open a project, return to a previous project, start a new one. So that's how that's done. Okay, so here I've set it at 4K at just under 24 frames per second. Then let's go down. We can change the look. So I can have soft turn. So yeah, just breezing through these, but when you have time, you can sit down and go through them. But for now, I'll just return back to, there we go. Okay, then what do we have? Change the lens to 16mm or to the 70mm. Yep. Again, for now, just return back to 24. Okay, what else do we have? We can change the white balance. Again, you've got quite a few good options here. But again, for now, I'll just leave it back at auto for this demonstration. Then the focus. Now this one, I don't think I fully mastered, but basically, if you have two objects, you can focus in between the two objects. Hence what this is for. So here, focus on. Okay, back there. I think that's the general gist of that one, but again, I'm still finding my way through with this phone. Oops. Okay, so that's done. Okay, change the shutter speed. Okay, you got quite a few good options there. I say you can change. Got lots of options there. Again, I'll just leave it there. And obviously, can we change this one? Yes, we can. So, but for now, I'll just leave it to 23.98 frames per second. And this grab here, I like this option. Basically, when you're filming, maybe you need to take a photo straight away. If you just tap on it, there we go, takes a picture of that. So that's something there. And then obviously this is the recording button. And while we're in it, I just want to see. Okay, I'll leave that in the middle until I've mastered that one. And then to stop, press that. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But as I said, an expert will breeze through this. After using this phone for 4 months, I can say it is a great phone, and that there is no denying. However, during the period I've had it, I've noticed 3 issues with the phone which I thought I'd share with you. Firstly, there is no dedicated night mode, meaning you will have to spend some time toggling with it just to get that perfect night shot. Secondly, the location of the shutter button means that whenever you're putting the phone in your pocket or taking it out, more often than not, you will hit the shutter button and as a result, activate the camera. So Sony could put that shutter button in another location on the phone. Lastly, when filming for an extended period of time, the phone does get hot and a message will appear on screen confirming that the phone is too hot, and as a result it will shut down. So again, just bear that in mind. So just to wrap up, with Sony putting their alpha cameras into a smartphone, it has been a great experience using it. And that leads on to my next point, which is price. Is it worth it? Considering it doesn't have an ecosystem or an iCloud. So that will be an individual decision. But I managed to get mine for £800 on a 2-year deal. So that's about under $1,000. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Are you thinking of buying the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II? And if so, has this tutorial helped in your decision making? Equally, do you already own one and you have learned something from this tutorial? If you have enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button below, which is free. A like would be fantastic. My name is Shola. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. And remember to mask up and to maintain social distancing, as we'll get through this together.